Cookie Monster, you always feel like eating cookies.
February 2nd, 2026 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on January 8th, 2026, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Please notify the Municipal Clerk of any disability requirements necessary for attendance at Township Council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones at this time. If you are unable to attend the council meeting in person and would like a topic to be addressed at a council meeting, please visit www.twpofwashington.us, Contact Us tab, click on Mayor and Council, send email to contact all council members at once. Could everyone please stand for a salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilman Ullman.
Here.
Councilwoman Velez.
Here.
Council President DeSena.
Here. Let the record reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator DeCarlo, Township Attorney Bailey, and Township Clerk Witkowski. Payment of bills, resolution number 26-167, authorized payment of bills January 16th through January 28th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Allman, you good? Okay.
Yes.
Roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
No, I know we got the responses.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilman Ullman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSena.
Yes. Tonight, we have a police appointment. Police Officer Jamie Daughtry, oath of office to be administered by Mayor Peter Calamari.
Thank you, everyone. I don't think I need the mic for this. My pleasure to introduce Jamie Daughtry to the Washington Township Police family. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to do this. Thank you to our family and friends for being here. Jamie came to us through a pretty extensive process, started last year, and she was number one. So that's why she's here today. Put her best foot forward, and we're happy to have her here. Jamie attended Keene University for 4 years, where she earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a minor in psychology. She began her career in public service in 2018 as a 911 dispatcher with the Clifton Police Department, answering the call to service her community in times of need. In March of 2022, she took the next step in a law enforcement career when she was sworn in the Essex County Sheriff's Office. She went on to attend and successfully graduate from the Essex County Police Academy. For the past 2 years, Jamie has served in the patrol division, demonstrating dedication, professionalism, and a strong commitment to public safety and community service. We are excited to welcome her to our WTPD family and look forward to her serving this great community. Thank you. Who's gonna hold on?
I, Jamie Daughtry,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the
police officer of the Township of Washington Police Department
in the Township of Washington,
in the Township of
in
Washington,
the County of Bergen,
in the County of Bergen,
in the State of New Jersey,
in the State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
It's getting cold.
Am I gonna have that picture?
That's right, nobody has a camera?
Nobody wants to be in there.
Can we get everybody in? Go sideways, should be facing forward. That sideways. No.
Counted that top of the head, same thing.
Is anybody watching the camera?
I counted.
Somebody over there, I was super on the Thanks, Ted.
Right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Good to see you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank PSA for February 2nd, 2026. PSA tax collector. Quarter 2 taxes are due February 2nd, 2026 with a grace period to February 10th, 2026. Payments received after February 10th will incur interest charges. If you completed a PAS-1 tax relief blue booklet application last year, the state will begin mailing the 2025 booklets directly to you beginning mid-February. If you filed online last year, expect a postcard from the state outlining details for 2025. You must submit a paper application or file online every year. It is not a one-and-done submission. PAS-1 booklets for new applications should be available in the tax office by mid-March, early April. Please be reminded that if you are 65 plus, you must apply for the Anchor Relief Program using the PAS-1 application. If you are under 65, the state will mail anchor notices in the summer. Construction has begun on the new DPW building at Town Hall. With this construction, the DPW yard will now remain closed on Tuesdays for household debris and recycling drop-off. Residents may still drop off items on Saturdays between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Please note, during the hours of construction, there will be limited parking to the east side of Hudson Avenue. 2025 animal license renewals were mailed out in late December. Please note the $5 late fee began on February 1st. As part of their efforts to identify lead service lines in our community, Veolia Water New Jersey has continued with Meter Tech to assist with in-home inspections of water meters to determine if your home is served by a lead service line. Please be advised, inspectors will be knocking on doors in an effort to schedule the appointment as a follow-up to letters that were sent to your home. The police department is aware of this. Please visit our website for further information. The warming center will be open during extreme temperatures from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the senior center. Before entering, please stop at the police desk to sign in. Our next council meeting will be held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Thank you, everyone. At this time, the report of the administrator.
Good evening, Council President. Good evening, Council. Thank you. This is my follow-up from our January 19th council meeting. Page 1 is the updates. If you could just keep page 2 is for our discussion on the DPW follow-up for later in conference. There are no resident or council follow-ups from last meeting. However, I do have several updates. The township has received our $15,000 grant reimbursement for the 2023 Recreational Opportunities for Individuals with Disabilities grant. As a reminder, the township has applied for this same grant for 2026. The remedial excavation of contaminated soil at 450 Pascack Road has been completed, and Beckmeyer Engineers is preparing the demolition plan. As a reminder, township funds were not spent to remediate the contaminated soil, and we have a grant to demo the buildings. This evening, administration requests the council's approval for a resolution to apply for the 2026 NJDCA Local Recreation Improvement Grant. If awarded, this grant will reimburse the township for funds requested in the 2026 capital budget for ADA improvements to Memorial and Clark Field. The request is for $175,000. No matching funds are required for this grant. As a reminder, the township received the NJDOT grant to resurface Ridgewood Boulevard North in 2026. The grant totals $37,528. We plan to begin the 2026 road program once the 26 capital budget is approved by council. 8 additional roads are recommended to be resurfaced in 2026. These roads have been added to the 26 capital budget request and are identified as Chimney Ridge Court, Garibaldi Place, Harrison Street, Highview Terrace, South Chestnut Street, Walnut Street between Ridgewood and Bergen, Pershing Ave, and Horizon Court. The final documents have been submitted to NJDOT in order to receive our final grant reimbursement payment for the resurfacing of Coolidge Avenue. And thank you, Council President. That's my report.
Report of the mayor at this time.
Yes. Good evening, Mike. Good evening, council members, residents. I had an enjoyable night this past Saturday, honoring the service of now former Fire Chief Zach Myros. It was a privilege working with Zach during his 2-year tenure. As chief, he consistently represented the department with distinction both within our community and beyond. I want to thank all the departments involved for their cooperation in accommodating our seniors at the firehouse twice a month for a few hours while renovations at Town Hall are underway for the new DPW facility. Everyone involved cooperated effectively to ensure this arrangement works well, especially as alternative venues would have been a costly expense. It is always my pleasure to work with and accommodate our department's requests when possible, just like they did with me on this one. Starting March 1st, a new law requires municipalities to post their public notices on their municipal websites. Nothing in the law prevents a municipality from choosing to publish a public notice elsewhere, but at a minimum, the public notice must be on the municipal website. Since I believe the state has not educated the public enough on this new law, I have asked our departments to put enough money in their budgets to continue to publish the public notices in their usual places through June 30th. We are working with the library to put an educational piece in their next newsletter that will be published before June 30th and gets mailed to all the homes in town to better inform them of this important change. Recreation news. The 2025-2026 basketball program season started in January, thanks to all the many volunteers who are helping out this season. The 2026 Falcons lacrosse program registration opened on Friday, January 9th, and ends on Friday, February 13th. If you are interested in volunteering with the lacrosse program, please contact Dan Scudieri via email. A background check for all volunteers 18 years of age and older is required. The Fun with Art and Fun with Cartooning program registrations opened on Monday, January 26th, and ends on Friday, March 13th. The men's over 33 softball program registration will open on Monday, February 16th, and end on Friday, April 3rd. Police Department news. The department completed the promotional process for captain, lieutenant, 2 sergeants, and 2 corporals. Officers completed their defensive tactics training. The department also worked with the other departments in managing the snowstorms that took place throughout the month of January. Fire Department news. For the month of January, the department responded to multiple odors of gas calls, fire, and CO2 alarms, plus 1 runaway furnace. 2 hours into the new year, the department was called for mutual aid to Paramus for coverage during a working house fire. On the 17th, they were called to Emerson for a fire alarm. As part of mutual aid, our department was covering for Emerson while they had an event. On the 18th, the department responded to a residence for a chimney fire. The department knocked the fire down and checked for extension. Residents are reminded to have their chimneys cleaned annually prior to their first seasonal usage. On the 28th, the department was dispatched to a residence that had a lithium battery fire. The fire occurred at 2 a.m. and it was quickly extinguished by the residents. They reported it to the department at 6 a.m., due to smoke and smell conditions. The department responded, checked for any hot spots, and vented the home. People are reminded to call these incidents in immediately. The fumes from a battery fire are highly toxic. The department has the training to deal with these situations and is on call 24/7 for all emergencies. Again, they welcome the seniors who are now holding their meetings at the firehouse while the new DPW facility is being built at Town Hall. A fire call came in as the meeting started, but the safety procedures that were proactively put into place worked as designed. Basically, they want to remind the residents to shovel out hydrants on their property. Every minute counts during a fire, and it is also a town ordinance. DPW news. The crews finished leaf collection. Holiday decorations around town were taken down. Street sweeping was scheduled for January 19th, but had to be postponed due to the snow. Crews responded to snow events on January 18th and 19th. The week of the 19th was then spent clearing snow and ice from the streets. Crews responded to yet another winter event on January 25th. The balance of that week was also spent clearing ice and snow from streets. Crews utilized the dump truck to remove excessive snow from various locations. The department has been operating from the Bethany site for a month. I am happy to report the location is working well. Zoning office. There were a total of 25 zoning applications reviewed for the month of January. Library. January was a busy and chilly month. In addition to having the air ducts cleaned and repaired, they offered a number of exciting programs. Teen paint nights, puzzle competitions, chess lessons, mahjong, and their first Reading Buddies program, where older volunteers work on reading skills with elementary schoolers. Check their website and newsletter for details on some great specials coming up in February: adult watercolor painting class, teen bingo, toddlers jiggly wiggly program, kids endangered species program, and so much more. Municipal Alliance. They have set up the Footprints for Life anti-bullying program for the third graders and are working on anti-drunk driving pre-prom programs at the high school. Municipal Court, 79 total traffic tickets were issued in December, with 54 from the Township of Washington Police Department and 25 from the State Police. The court collected $4,883.74 in revenue to the township. Public affairs, events are still being worked on for our Residents Appreciation Weekend. So please check the website, as from what I'm hearing, we have some new and interesting events this year. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Report of the council, Ms. Velez.
Thank you. So mine is short. I want to thank the different departments, the DPW, police, fire, and ambulance, for all the work and time that they gave to our snowstorm on the 25th. It was a pretty hefty storm, and I saw them come by several times. They were all out there working really hard, so thank you for all the hours that you put in to keeping the town safe and functioning. On Saturday, as the mayor said, I also attended the fire department testimonial dinner. I want to thank the outgoing chief, Zach Muros, for his leadership and dedication to the department. It's been a pleasure working with you all these years. And congratulations to the new chief, Frank Aiello. I wish you the best of luck in your new position, as well as a congratulations to the 2026 Fire Board officers. Thank you for giving of your time to our community. Be well and be safe. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Council President. Superintendent Dan Scuderi and myself attended a class down in Rutgers University on native plants that the governor has signed into a policy. Part of it is to deal with our water-based watershed. I'm writing up a proposal to present to the planning board and to the master plan. These type of plants now have to be incorporated into development of any housing. The class was excellent. We were there from 8 until 3:30. And also, we got 5.5 CEUs between us, which kept our forestry grant and our forestry protection stable in the township. And that's all I have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. Mr. Cassio.
Yeah, again, I attended the fire department dinner the other night. It was a wonderful event. Everything's been said. The only thing I'd like to recommend to the DPW is when they put snow on a corner where there's school, you shouldn't stack it so high. I know they have some difficulty displacing the snow, but it does put an undue burden on the people that are on a main thoroughfare. So again, hopefully they can come up with something a little bit different where they displace the snow on corners. And that's the report.
Thank you. Mr. Ullman?
Yeah, I just would like to compliment the DPW on the work that they did with the recent snowstorms. I had the opportunity to log on to social media, and one might get the impression that there was no plowing in town, or certainly in certain parts of town. With anonymous posts, I had the opportunity to speak to Mr. DiCarlo to determine how many actual complaints came into his office. Thankfully, there were a limited number, probably could be counted on one hand. And I don't think the reality or the what is depicted on social media and discussed on social media reflects reality. Again, if you have an issue in town, the council, the mayor, or Administrator DiCarlo would be a good route to see the resolution of that. We're here to serve you, and I think we tend to do a good job, some better than others, and I include myself in that, obviously, in the better than others. But again, I think if there is an issue, the fastest course of action is to reach out to one of your elected officials or the administrator. And that would be it.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. I guess a lot's been said already by the rest of council and the mayor. Thank you for the invite to the fire department dinner. Thank you for all the service of all the firemen, new board, old board, and the old chief and the new chief. It's been said already. DPW, fire, ambulance, police, great job in getting everything prepared for the storms that went through the last few weeks. Very much appreciated in keeping our town safe. Also, baseball and softball registration is open without a late fee until Valentine's Day, the 14th. So from pre-K4 to 8th grade, there's programs for all the children, both boys and girls in Township, to play baseball and softball. And our opening day ceremony this year will be on April 18th, 2026, beginning at 9 a.m. That concludes my quick report. One more thing to add. Like Mr. Ullman has said many times, the anonymous posters on Facebook, just to set the record correct and not the anonymous posters incorrectness, the 2025 assessment townwide was required by the County of Bergen Tax Office. It was not a request, it was a requirement that either we performed it ourselves or they would perform it for us and bill us a one-time $650,000 to $800,000 bill. Everybody sitting on this dais with the administration's help from the tax assessor, she's been wonderful in this issue so far, determined that it would be in our best interest of the township to perform the assessment ourselves and hire our own assessment company. The assessment company was vetted. They do statewide assessments. They are not a fly-by-night outfit. Mr. DiCarlo made sure they had all their credentials. They do this all the time. They're not doing this from the seat of their pants. To set the record straight, it was a requirement. It was not a, let's just do this townwide 100% assessment arbitrarily. It was a requirement. It hadn't been done in over 10 years. And it was either do it ourselves or have it forced on us by the County of Bergen Tax Office, which then they would have controlled the whole assessment. So that's my closing statement. I don't think I said anything incorrectly, right, ladies and gentlemen? But I know some of the Facebook anonymous posters have totally said the wrong thing, so I just wanted to set the record straight.
May I just add
Sure,
to
Ms.
both
Bliss.
your comments? Mr. Ullman, I appreciate you bringing up social media because it has become just a source of misinformation.
Yes.
So I appreciate both of you clarifying. And the administration was constantly updating the website.
Absolutely, there's so
on the
much- yeah.
storm, on the assessment. I think people need to get off the unofficial pages.
Yes.
And go to the website or the official pages
Thank
for truthful information. So thank you, gentlemen, for bringing
Thank
that
you,
up.
Celeste.
Mike, if I could just add
Sure.
one quick thing in about anonymous also. Occasionally, I know I get anonymous emails. I'm sure the council does
Yeah,
also.
we don't respond to those.
Yeah, but we would like to respond to your concerns. So
If there were-
please attach your name to it. If you're bringing up a concern, we want to get back to you. So, we're not going to treat you bad or anything like that. We appreciate your comments, but, you don't give us the method to get back to you. So please do.
Yeah, we can't respond to them because when they're anonymous, they don't give you
Right.
an email response or a phone number to call.
Correct.
So I think everybody on the dais does a good job. When they do get an email, whether it's directed at them or to the council president or to the mayor, we respond within 24 hours
Yeah.
when we can, when we have the information to respond. So moving on, approval of minutes. Regular meeting, February 18th, 2025. Conference meeting, February 18th, 2025. Budget, February 24th, 2025. Budget meeting, March 10th, 2025. Regular meeting and conference budget meeting of March 17th, 2025. Budget meeting of March 24th, 2025. Budget meeting of March 31st, 2025. Regular and conference meeting of April 7th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
yes.
Councilman Ullman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSenza.
Yes. Approval of minutes, regular meeting and conference budget meeting, March 3rd, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes,
Councilman Ullman.
Recusing myself as not present at the meeting.
Councilwoman Velez.
Yes.
Council President DeSenza.
Yes.
Ms. Wachowski, can I abstain and not recuse?
Yes,
Yeah,
I will-
abstain, I was gonna say would be better than recuse.
Is that okay?
that's okay. They're used interchangeably. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Public hearing, Open Space Trust Fund Park Improvement Program Memorial Field. Motion to acknowledge what's in our package.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor? Aye.
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 General public comment period, limit to 5 minutes. Do I have a motion to open the public comment period?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
aye.
Seeing no one in the audience, do I have a motion to close the public comment
So
period?
moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I'd like to, Mr. Swisher is on Zoom for us. I'd like to suspend the agenda and have Mr. Swisher provide his response to the council's questions regarding the not-to-exceed amounts for the zoning board of adjustment engineer and the planning board adjustment engineer compensation that we discussed last meeting.
motion to suspend.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Swisher? What's Ms. Wachowski?
Thank you for having me here this evening. Just a real quick, maybe starting out with like a background on what the not to exceed amount is about. This goes all the way back to 2017, where the state of New Jersey realized that there was a disconnect in some of the laws that they have between the administrative code and I'm gonna find my notes here for a second, the NJSA, the state statutes. So the administrative code is calling for the, basically, they're, well, just missing my mark right here right now. Sorry about that. I've got it right in front of me too. It's sad. It was a change in administrative code that affected the manner in which certain contracts are awarded. And the reason they did it is because the rules involving the encumbrance of funds per the administrative code did not mesh with the rules awarding contracts per the state statutes. The NJSA required that awards spell out the nature, duration, service, and amount of the award, but it didn't say what the amount could be. In other words, it could be $100 an hour. And that was the real disconnect, because at the same time, the administrative code is asking the CFO to certify the funds to a written certification. So if there was a resolution of award that said $100 an hour, for instance, for attorney, engineer, whatever it might be, the CFO did not have the requisite information to do the certification. And they did this obviously to make the two laws work together. And they also issued a local finance notice that kind of talked about the fact that by doing it in this way provides a greater transparency, ensuring that the public can more effectively monitor the cost of contracts being awarded. And it was kind of a big deal when it came out. This goes back obviously a number of years ago. So we've been working with our clients to try and get them to be in compliance with this. Last year was our first year in Washington, and we noticed that you guys were not doing that. And so we had a good conversation with the administration, and we covered it at the exit conference to talk about moving forward to do this. Obviously, there were some questions that were involved with some of these awards. So the background of it is pretty straightforward, okay, in terms of trying to get these two laws to work together and to improve transparency. Now, you have specific questions on some of the awards, and I'm open to answering those questions right now.
So we're saying we're setting the rate to not to exceed at 145,000, I believe, right? That was what was in the
Yep.
140.
140 or 140?
140.
140. I'm sorry. There's no guarantee. Where does it state in the resolution that there's no guarantee that they're going to earn 140? That's
So I think
that's where
that's
my disconnect is.
It's a great question, and it's interesting. So getting prepared for this tonight, I went back and actually looked at the local finance notice that was issued back in 2017. And it reads, for the benefit of the public, a contract resolution award may contain a caveat that displays the maximum dollar amount is based on a reasonable estimate of the goods or services required over the contract term, and that the local unit is not obligated to spend that money. And it's interesting, okay, this came out, whatever it was, now 8 years ago, whatever it might be. And all the resolutions that I see in my other clients, we do whatever it might be, 80, 85 municipalities, I've never seen this language in a resolution, okay? Because your point is very well taken, and I've had situations, particularly when the law first changed, I had clients pushing back. I'm giving the impression to the public,
Yes,
I'm spending this money. It's legitimate, okay? And I've had clients really push back on it, which is okay, by the way. And I would refer them to the state. They would call the state. The state would basically reinforce that this is what they want you to do. But I do think that maybe it might be something that you could do, and maybe I might even start suggesting to some of my clients, I'm not an attorney, I'm an auditor, right? I don't tell you how to write your resolutions, but it is kind of interesting. I can share this local finance notice with Mark, and maybe that is a way in which you can accomplish both goals. And it's hard because particularly when you start talking about attorneys, it's very hard to predict what you're going to spend. And they in this local finance notice, they also go into doing an historical evaluation of what you spent over the course of time, adding into it whatever current issues are going on, but it's never going to be perfect. Okay, bearing in mind, and I had this conversation with Mark, that you can take a stab at the dark and say, listen, I believe that the not to exceed amount will be X, okay, $100,000. When you get to August and you've already spent 90, then you may be in a situation where administration has to come back to the governing body and get further authorization. It's burdensome to administration, to the finance office. As in many cases, you end up with multiple resolutions because you're taking this guesstimate as to what's in there. But as to your point, maybe adding that language at the end, and I will share this local finance notice from 2017 with Mark, so we can have that, and maybe that accomplishes both goals.
thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Swisher?
Well, don't we budget for these two lines?
Well, aren't they? But they're escrow amounts, so that's why we can't, right? Right, Mr. Swisher? These are all coming out of. So how do we arbitrarily come up with the 140? Is that just like, hey, worst scenario, that's the most we ever spent, or?
We think that it's based on last year.
Yeah, you guys are really kind of cutting to the quick because there was a question somebody had mentioned about the budget, and I got some smart alecky remarks from some of my clients. Okay, the not to exceed amount is the budget. Okay, well, do whatever you'd like to do. But then they would bring up the planning and the zoning board escrows, which are even more complicated.
Right.
Okay, because how do you really know what's going to happen there? And I actually asked the question, this goes back a number of years ago. They didn't have necessarily a specific answer to address those two particular appointments, other than the fact that the law is what the law is. And as we kind of know, sometimes they write these laws and they're not considering every particular situation. So again, you do your best, and perhaps adding that caveat at the end will make sure that the public kind of understands. We're just kind of taking a shot at this to cover ourselves. Again, the law was, and I've been doing this for just a few years, that at the end, you'd have this appointment to be for $100 an hour, and nobody, including the council, the governing body, didn't know what they were committing themselves to. And that's now going to be transparent, and it's going to be, in theory, encumberable against the records.
But see, that's where that's where my disconnect comes in, because we don't know where we're going to spend because the applicant is posting the escrow. So we don't know, because we're not spending, the applicant is spending money by going in front of the zoning board and the planning board. And the only time the council and the administration would see a bill would be if we have a deadbeat applicant who is, doesn't pay their bill. And then the professionals say, hey, you have a deadbeat applicant in your town and he or she didn't pay their bill. And I expect now because of the law, there's another law that says, hey, township, you're required now to pay that bill, even though you didn't agree to it.
Yeah, no, I have that scenario does occur from time to time, but
it does, yes.
Your point is very well taken, and I don't know that the state really kind of gets it, because again, you're getting right to the heart of the matter in as much as how do I encumber that money? Okay, when you're talking about the budget, it's pretty straightforward, and there are additional rules if you really want to dive into the administrative code for special situations, like you have right now, really, because you don't have a budget yet. Okay, so
but we're not budgeting 143.20 funds, correct?
It's a completely different matter. And again, I can do this for you. And this again, I went down this road. It's got to be a year out from when this came out, and they asked that specific question to division. And if you would like, I will do another email down to them and share the results of that email with you. I can do that as well. But again, I end up getting pretty terse responses from them in terms of, this is the law, this is what you have to do. And they're not maybe considering the subtleties between like an escrow and the budget.
Okay. Now, are we the only town that you perform a audit that doesn't have this right now? Do all your other municipalities that you?
I won't speak for all of our towns. I'm responsible for probably maybe 25, 30 of the engagements that we do. Okay. And in my jobs, I'd like to think that all of them have that.
Okay. That's a fair answer. And
again, it's been this kind of compliance over time. Okay, this is a fairly large change that occurred, and it took me a couple of years with some of my towns to kind of. And again, there was pushback on it, and so I would like to think by right now that I have everybody on board with it. They may not be thrilled with it, but they're on board with it. So again, you should be able to visit other towns and see as well samples of what they're doing. Again, the not to exceed amount language is what's basically commonly used. If you look at the law, it's going to use the word maximum. What does it say? A maximum dollar amount is what it says in the law itself. But if you look at the resolutions that you see across the state, really, you'll see that language not to exceed is used. So again, and I'll tell you what, I appreciate you folks bringing it up. I'm going to take it upon myself to send an email down. And I will share that with administration, and they can get it back to you guys as well to see what they say. And then who knows, sometimes they do these laws and maybe they require amendment as well. So I will run that back up the flagpole again and get the results of that back to you.
I just have Mr. Allen go.
One other question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a resolution, it's, 5 votes and it's done. What's the burden that is being placed on the finance office within the township, to adhere to that? So are we doing this already? Are we monitoring this already up in the finance office, and this is just sort of codifying something? Or is there an additional reporting or accounting burden that is being placed on them?
I'll tell you what, you guys are doing very well tonight. The Edmunds accounting system that most municipalities use, you guys use Edmunds, I would say they probably have an 80 to 85% share of the municipal financial reporting market out there. There's a couple of other smaller vendors out there. To my knowledge, there is not a separate area in Edmunds that can kind of track this. And so you are responsible. And there is a burden, okay, for these contracts that we just did to track them and make sure that we're not exceeding these things. You're supposed to be setting up an encumbrance for them. But I've seen situations in places where and it goes right into what we do for audit, right? One of our audit tests is we will go in and look for items that are over the bid threshold, okay? And make sure they were awarded by resolution of the governing body, and to make sure that they don't exceed the not to exceed threshold, okay? So when you ask the question, I think that it does put an additional burden on the finance office, as it does also for the clerk's office. I mean, just think about it. If most of your contracts are awarded at the beginning of the year, okay, I'm getting back to the budgeted ones and not necessarily the planning board ones, the escrows, and you can only certify what you have in your temporary budget, which used to be 26.25%. I think they just bumped it to 35% that you can just do in your temporary budget. So you have to do that reso, and then in theory, you're going back again, okay, and do another certification once the budget is adopted, okay? So when this first came out, there was a lot of pushback on it. Whether it's worth it, okay, you could take that up with your local legislators. But yeah, I think that there is an additional burden on the finance office.
Well, doesn't that burden always exist? Shouldn't all the escrow accounts based on your audit be tracked? So separate question. The escrow accounts are tracked separately. Individually, correct?
Right? Individually tracked. And an interesting little point where you talked about deficits, it can occur from time to time. And believe it or not, legally, you can actually you don't stop the project, you continue to charge the escrow, even though it's in a deficit, and then you're supposed to recover that within a quote unquote reasonable period of time. But yes, the escrows are tracked individually.
Well, I've seen meetings be canceled because of the deficit in escrow.
You can do that. And again, this is another one, and I could probably dig it up somewhere for you, that there is a local finance notice.
Yeah.
They're very big on us making sure that you don't overexpend money, except for this particular case. And I don't know why that is. Okay. And I'm sure that if the local rule is that you have to have it, you can do that.
Anything else from Mr. Swisher? Mr. Allman, anything else?
No.
Mark?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swisher.
Not a problem. I will follow up on that situation with the division, and I will get the answer tomorrow.
Can I ask you one last question?
Absolutely.
Would you be able to maybe figure out who your best client's resolution you have and send it to our administration so we can look at it? And
well, you're asking me to choose who my favorite child is, but at the same time, I will.
They don't have to know. Only we'll know.
I will redact the name.
Yes, there you go. Perfect.
I will get that over tomorrow.
Figure who it is.
Yes, but we want to put that in there. Yes. So thank you, Mr. Swisher.
Thank you, John.
Very good. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Going back into the regularly scheduled meeting. Resolutions consent agenda. The following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of the council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from the consent agenda. Would anybody like either items removed?
You might want to go back and just mention that there's no ordinances.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please.
There are no ordinances tonight, and there are no adoptions of second reading, and there are no introductions of first reading.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to talk about both of them.
Sure, so we'll do them individually. So resolution number 26-168, support opposition of S4736, bypassing the local planning process. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, so I generally don't have an issue with this, with one exception, the accessory dwellings. I don't know if we've come to a conclusion in the planning board and in the master plan. Mr. Burgess is here. He might have an opinion. But I do think that's something that should be possibly considered in the town.
To prohibit accessory dwellings?
No, to allow it.
To allow it.
To allow it.
You don't need that.
My opinion.
So you would like an accessory dwelling allowed on a property?
Yes.
Of what
Or
size?
To be considered. Well, I think it would have to be determined by the governing body with input from the planning board. But I'm not against it. I do feel that, it presents an opportunity for people to stay in their houses longer, for people to, multi-generations to possibly live on a piece of property that they've had in their family. So I'm not against it. So I would just call that out. Overall, though, the removal of oversight of the township's planning or zoning, I don't support. So I support this, but I do think that we should, at some point, have a discussion on accessory dwellings.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Any other discussion, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, isn't the point that you wouldn't have oversight on it? Because the state would mandate that there is no oversight?
There is no oversight, yeah.
So I don't think you can, and I understand, and I fully appreciate what Mr. Ullman's saying, but I think the way that it's written is that you'd have no site, no recall at all. It's either all or nothing. And, if it's all or nothing, I would think the town would want to be in control of its own destiny, right?
Yeah.
Before, I go put 2 bunkies on my property, right? We don't want that happening. And everyone else would do it. So, again, I understand Mr. Ullman's concern, and
I think his concern is something that needs to be discussed, but not as part of this opposition right now.
When the township loses, or any municipality loses its own destiny, then I have an issue with that. That's all. So that's my 2 cents.
I share your 2 cents.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Nickel.
There's no such thing as a penny loafer anymore, my friend. It's a quarter. It's quarter loafers.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes. Resolution number 26-169, authorize the submission of the application for fiscal year 26 local recreation improvement grant, LRIG, in the amount of approximately $175,000 for Memorial Field improvements.
So moved.
I'll second it. Discussion?
Yeah, my only question is, this is for ADA access, I believe.
Yes, ADA access improvements.
So haven't we, in recent years, like the last 2 or 3, had ADA improvements at both of these fields? And what else is there? Were they not sufficient, or are there additional ones we can take advantage of? Or are there other fields or other facilities where we can, avail ourselves of these grants?
I think the only complete ADA parking we have at a field is at Clark Field, because it takes you right out of your vehicle onto pavement, and you have pads all around the area. At Sherry Field, the parking spot is there, but it's difficult to get from the spot to the ADA ramps that we've done in years past, which aren't 100% complete around the whole field yet. And the same thing at Memorial, we have spots, but then we don't have a ramp to get, the ramp's not, I don't think it's ADA compatible yet.
I thought that was the last one we approved, with the spots and the ramps to.
But they're not all connected.
Okay.
Does this include playground equipment as well?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez,
Yes.
Council President DeSantis.
Yes. Motion to adjourn to the conference agenda?
So
So moved.
All
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting of the Township Council will be on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. Sign up for Nixle. Text 07676 to 888-777. Key code TWP of Bergen.
You can add those 2 resolutions onto this. So we'll do it in conference.
Yeah. All right, under conference agenda, under administration, 2026 budget.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Very quickly, the mayor and I hope to have had the budget books to you this evening. However, I just received the AFS from Lurch Vinci Bliss today, and I have a scheduled meeting with him tomorrow to go over it. That will, of course, help me with all the appropriate revenues and assure that we are well within the appropriation cap and the levy cap in order to hand the budget over to the council. The mayor feels confident probably getting it in your hands by the end of next week. We don't want to wait till the following meeting because it's 3 weeks away from tonight. With that said, we wanted to see if the council wanted to start scheduling the meetings, or you will have the budget books well in advance of the what's the next meeting, the 23rd?
Just said it.
The 23rd. So, we wanted
We could
to,
have a limited agenda and start the budget on the 23rd.
That's what we were thinking.
That's what we
We'll have plenty
usually
of
do.
time to review it.
Is everybody okay
Yeah,
with that?
can
Have a
we
limited.
start setting the
yeah.
dates?
Well, we'll start on the 23rd with a limited agenda, and then we'll set the dates on the 23rd and move forward once we have all.
Or you could just set the Monday dates, and if something changes, we cancel it.
I'd rather wait to see it and see what we're looking at, please, if everybody's okay with that. Let's look at, well, Monday the 23rd, we're gonna have it on the agenda to start the budget, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody will
We'll
have
have it
enough
well
time.
ahead of time. to
Yeah, we'll
review.
have enough, time, right? As long as we don't get it on the
No.
19th,
No.
like, that's not gonna happen.
No, right.
Okay. DPW construction update.
yes, thank you again, very quickly. If you can go to page 2 of what was given you from me that was included with your the meeting updates. I had told the council I would give you periodic updates and review of expenditures, and I will be updating the website, at some point this week. You can actually go to the back side of this page. This is our capital line that you guys graciously supported in the fall to give
Is it the
me some.
8.5 by 11? That should be 11 by 17 so we can read it?
Huh?
Is it the 8.5 by 11 that we?
No, I don't know what that
This
is.
one,
Okay,
on the back of Mark's report earlier.
Then you left.
I see it now.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the 8.5 by 11, I
That's
can't
like
read.
my one that-
So this was the auxiliary account. I believe we funded it with 150,000. Most of it was, cancellation of old ordinances. We did not borrow any new money for it. If you go to page 2, all the expenses on page 1 you're already aware of, and it's up on the website. So if you go to the $15,000, that should be like the third entry down, PO 2600116. I needed to encumber $15,000 out of this line. We're not expecting to exceed it or come close to it, but we had to hire a third-party inspection company to do, I guess, what we'll call special inspections outside of what our building department would normally do. It's kind of explained to me the concrete, because they do testing on the concrete and things like that.
Who do we hire, Mr.?
It's actually NV5 is the name of the company.
MD5?
NV5. If you look underneath where it says one open, NV5 Inc. We got a couple different proposals, and the architects assisted, and this company was the best with pricing. It's all different prices, depending on what you get. It's like a la carte, essentially. The next, if you go 3 up from the bottom, so PO 2600206 for Montana Construction, $24,780. So there's a stormwater pipe that runs parallel to the northern boundary of our property. That would be the property line with the valley. Before building a $4.5 million building on top of it, we wanted to make sure it was structurally sound. We had to have it videoed, and there's a section towards the most easterly end, which was the end of it, that is not infrastructurally sound. It's broken up and there's some holes in it. So we looked into a couple different options on how to fix it. And Montana Construction is being hired outside of the bid because we got a potential change order quote for about $11,000 more. So this option was the most fiscally responsible. So Montana is going to repair it from the east end inward. It's like a lining. So rather than go from the DPW site and dig down and dig up the earth to replace it, we're going to go with the just as appropriate, but just the least expensive. I don't want to say the bad part is, obviously I needed money to encumber that from. So if you remember, the bid was like $4,933,000. Out of that, $400,000 of it was contingency. If we did a monetary change order, money would start deducting from that contingency. But because we have an encumbrance system in the state of New Jersey, I can't, use that money out of the 4933 to pay for other things. It has to be put aside for the potential. We had to start a PO for what the bid award was. So again, rather than going the change order, which would be about $11,000 more expensive, we're doing it this way. The last expense is, they're both together. It's two different line numbers with the same PO. It's 2665 and 2860, which was a total of 5525. We had to move the pole that the fire siren is attached to. So if you could picture where it was a little north and east of where the ambulance building is, along the property line with Valley. The berm was holding that in place. The berm is now being taken out and we're making it level there. So that pole was not, I want to use the word planted. It wasn't installed deep enough. So we had to move it over a few feet and drill a new hole. So there was a cost for that. And of course, doing it with Hamill Electric was cheaper than doing it through Premier. So again, that just goes to the recap, the three new expenses. We have not tapped into that 15,000 yet. There's obviously no structure there. Montana should be performing the work this week, and the pole was moved last week. I'm not asking for extra money, but as you could tell, out of the 150, we only have 33 left because of the money that's encumbered for the whole building. So I'm hoping, again, there's I don't want to call it a surprise, but unknown expenses. So I have about $33,000 outside of what was encumbered for the building. And if you guys have any questions, but that keeps you kind of up to date with everything that's going on. As far as the progress on the building, unfortunately, last week there wasn't any progress because of the foot of snow. But every 2 weeks we do have a construction meeting with all the the high rollers that are involved in the construction effort with this, and that occurs every Tuesday.
Is the fire siren active right now?
Yes, yeah, it was down for about an hour. So they had to disconnect it, make the wire more taut once they moved it closer because the electricity comes off of the ambulance building.
Okay.
Just
Every other Tuesday, I'm sorry.
Just one question. That pipe that had to be relined, was it discovered when they started the work? Or
It wasn't discovered because they started the work. It was discovered because, again, they, said, before we build a building on it, let's see the integrity of the pipe.
So, again, not directed at you. I don't know where it should be directed. Our engineering, our architect, but, that building, we've been talking about it for 5 years, probably longer. It's going there. That pipe has probably been there at least those 5 years. I mean, again, there are unexpected things, but I guess this, if we were going to build it there and we know that the pipe is there, should we have checked it or accounted for it before? And I know there's not an answer that you can give, but it's just a bit frustrating that, now we're looking at, this expense that was unexpected that's going to eat into the overall cost or contribute to the overall cost.
I do. I understand where you're coming from, and I figured, that would be a question, but, working with these professionals, they did try to account for, everything. And unfortunately, as you said, things will pop up. And I certainly could have put it through as a change order, but we were going to waste $11,000 just to do that. So I know where you're coming from. So, hopefully there isn't any more. Or if there is more, it's not that many.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. McClellan? The next two, we discussed with Mr. Swisher. Ms. Bailey, you'll probably get some information from the administration on how to amend the resolution, right? And once we get that, we'll hopefully have it in time for our next meeting, and if it's amenable to everybody, we'll act on it at the next meeting. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Under council, we have nothing under ordinances, legislation, or financial. Miscellaneous, we have a review of outsourcing of police dispatch. Mr. Allman?
Yeah, I just asked that this be kept on as a reminder. I mean, we have.
Any update yet on this, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, the administrator and I and the chief and the captain went up to Bergen County's dispatch center this afternoon. Met with quite a few people up there. We had a lot of exchange of information, questions and answers, and they will be getting us a proposal shortly.
Now, how about the company that now administers our 911? Are we getting a proposal from them also?
I want to see where this one comes first, because I figure we can kind of use this as I'll say for my part, the learning experience, so we're not going through it with two vendors at the same time.
I'm just saying, we didn't go with the county for 911 for some reason, right? So we went with the other agency.
Correct, yes.
So shouldn't we ask this other agency? I can't think of their name right now.
Northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we ask Northwest for a proposal?
We will be, like I said, the county said we'll have the proposal within the next few days, and then at least my part to educate myself will have been done, and then I'll reach out to them and go through the same exercise.
Any additional questions, anyone on this? Mr. Allman, anything else?
No, just good, and,
I'm sorry, I expect to have all the numbers for the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
there is a capital expense in the budget for a backup site.
Correct.
At the firehouse. So, if we can address this and come to some conclusion, it may allow us to redirect resources or not.
Agreed. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the closed session with conflict of interest. Why is that enclosed and not in open?
In my view, it involves potential litigation, and if you'll permit me to explain what I mean by that.
Well,
Enclosed, and then if you don't agree, we could come back out.
Is there litigation at this point?
Potential.
Did someone file a suit?
Nope.
Okay. So it's anticipated?
Potential litigation. And it's my opinion, it belongs enclosed. Yeah.
Is there, so I think your predecessor,
Mr. Pollard?
I can't remember his name.
How could you forget Mr. Pollard? That was a joke. Okay, you're being sarcastic. Huh?
Mr. Pollard, I think one of the things he stressed is that there's always potential litigation. People can sue for anything.
Right.
I guess the question is, in your view, is there a probability or a high probability that it will result in a litigation?
Sitting here today, less so than a week or two ago. A week or two ago, high or medium, which would involve the issues I'd like to discuss in closed. The time that has passed, it's less so, but certainly erring on the side of caution, I think it belongs in closed session. I'll be happy to explain in detail what I mean by that.
Well, I would just
So if we need to come
reserve the
into
right to come back.
back out?
Yeah, so we'll make the announcement that we will come back out of closed if needed to discuss it. Is that okay with everyone?
I'm okay with that.
All right, closed session. Resolution number 26-170, fair share housing update and a conflict of interest. The Township Council anticipates that an open session will be necessary after the discussion. Motion may be necessary. Motion to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's give Ricky a couple minutes to shut the cameras off. If everyone wants to take a couple minute break.